evening, this is vk3sl. Welcome to the afternoon program, and we've just heard probably Mozart's most interesting work, I think. It's extraordinary. It really is forward-looking, and if only he'd lived on, we would have got more of that high drama that he evokes in his Sinfonia Concertata in E-flat, a work for violin and viola. And that's a great recording. I think that's my favourite. It's Arthur Grumio and Arrigo Pelliccia on the viola, Grumio on the violin, and the LSO with Colin Davis back in 1964, that recording. Very French interpretation, very elegant.
You've got a version conducted by Yehudi Menuhin.
Oh, do you? Oh, that'd be good to hear. Yeah, how are you, Frank?
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, look, okay, just sort of... Yeah, I feel like I'm on the back of a ball, riding around and being thrown from one thing to another.
Yeah.
It's pretty full on, actually, but I am theoretically I'm on holidays at this point for 2 weeks, so that's nice to know.
Excellent.
But I got home just a moment before 5 o'clock, so I didn't have much time to crank up the gramophone. But I did go to a live concert this week, and I heard that work, which we just played, and I heard a very interesting arrangement of it. It was a 19th century arrangement. I can't remember the person who arranged it, but it was arranged for a string sextet, and they distributed all the solo parts amongst the sextet. And it worked really well. It sounded fantastic. Wonderful chamber music. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just incredible music. It's Mozart's. It's the very best.
Mozart's just about to go romantic, isn't it?
Yes, I think it is. He's on the cusp. You know, it never really happened because he died shortly after this.
In fact, when I first heard it, I thought it was Beethoven.
Yeah, it has got the hallmarks of Beethoven.
Early Beethoven.
In its drama. The middle movement is so tragic. I might play it tonight, actually. It'd be nice to feature the work again and sort of riff on it, maybe. It's certainly, and if I can find a recording of that chamber music version, I could play some snippets of that if it's available. I don't know if it is.
It's good.
But oh, wow, it's fabulous music. And yeah, I mean, it's very hard for it not to sound too protean and too sort of... It needs to have that blend of elegance and, I don't know, something reflective as well. And I think that interpretation with Grumio is just beautiful. It really hits the spot.
We've got a lot of stuff by him.
By Grumio?
Yes.
He's a great exponent of the Franco-Belgian violin school.
Lovely tone.
Yeah, gorgeous sound. Yeah, he had an extraordinary tone. And we'll see how we go. Now, there's a few things happening around here, and actually it was a slow start also because the antenna current meter didn't work, and I was wondering what was going on. I thought I was just loading up the cable, and I had to go up and do a few fits and shakes to get things awakened again. I think everything goes to sleep when I'm not on air for a bit, and but I think it's all okay now. It's come alive. So, and it's just trying to work out what's happening here. And also we've got guests coming. Kate's asked a lot of people tonight, so I think they're coming a bit later, but we'll see how we go. We'll meander forth for a bit longer. And apparently they're coming about 8 o'clock, but they should be finished by the time the late night program starts. So it should be fine. If not, they can sit and watch. So we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll have an audience.
Well, why not?
It'd be good if they decide to do that. But yeah. Anyhow, have you been out and about or any live music?
No. David came over last night and tested positive this morning.
Okay, so you're bunkering down.
Yes, waiting to see what happens. He was only with us for about half an hour. Well, I say only.
Yeah.
I cancelled. I had two things on at U3A this afternoon. I had a planned morning tea with friends.
Yes.
So I didn't do those.
No.
And I'm supposed to. It's an opportunity for me to take keyboards to the place that's going to sell them.
Oh, of course.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, but that's probably off the
Probably,
the radar as well. Oh, well, look, you're probably okay. I mean, these days people are a bit looser about all of this stuff. So, as long as you're all right.
Anyway, then we've got more things coming up. And, of course, what I really want to be right for is Easter.
Yes. Definitely.
We've got the Matthew Passion
You
on
do.
Good Friday.
That's right. Oh, look, we'll have to devote emissions to that. I don't think I will be around over Easter. I think we're in Inverloch, and then I'm doing a walk in the high plains.
That's great to hear. You need to have
Yes, I have to. I have to get out. Otherwise, I really will go nuts. So, so these programs will be a little bit intermittent over the next couple of weeks. Probably nothing next weekend, possibly something the following. Oh, no, maybe not. I don't know. It's in the air, so just tune in if something happens, all and good. Otherwise, we'll just suspend it for April. But, look, while I'd go and top up my drink, I'll put on a 20s hit. This is a recording of the Rhythmic 8, an English group. I think it's a Bert Furman ensemble from the 20s, and I think it features Sylvester Alhoa on the trumpet, who was
you've played them before.
Yeah, he's great. He copied Bix, and in this instance, he's indulging in Bixian half-valving techniques, which I think sound really good. So a bit of a novelty track, but it's a track called This Is the Way the Puff Goes. So let's have a listen on an old Zonophone from 1920 Mumble.
VK3JR on 2 meters.
And vk3sl test missions.
This is the way the puff puff goes, the puff puff goes, the puff puff goes. Nobody knows just where it goes, but all we know is the puff puff goes. Rolling along the railroad track, it whistles at its work. It puffs and puffs and puffs and puffs, and never tries to shirk.
Now, that is the way the puff puff went. The puff puff went, the puff puff went. Nobody knows just where it went, but it always went where it was sent. But nowadays, with motor cars and charabancs and such, the poor old puff puff doesn't seem to get about so much. And there's a certain line down in the south where the puff puff lives from hen to mouth. Nobody knows just where it's sent, or how it's sent, or why it's sent. And whether it's passenger or freight, it's always just 1 hour late. So listen a while, we'll try to show the way this puff puff goes, dead slow.
Yes, novelty music from Britain in the late 1920s, the Rhythmic 8. And it's quite, it's great, that half valve technique. It sort of gives the music some impetus, I think, and certainly in the flavour of syncopated music.
Very much.
Yeah, so a little bit of fun there from the 20s. Yeah, and I'm sort of seating myself back in here, working out what's next. I think there's a recording that popped up as well. I'm being a bit lazy today. I haven't fired up the gramophone, but there's a recording of Ray Noble, and I think this might have Al Bowley on this. And
Good. Early, was it?
yeah, it's an early recording of Al Bowley. I think it's from the 20s or early 30s. Let's see if there's a date.
Did a lot of things with Ray Noble, didn't he?
Yes, he was incumbent with
right.
with Ray Noble for quite a period. This is a song that Captain Matchbox had on their hit list in the 70s, and I didn't realise that it was actually a Ray Noble hit. And it's a great song, and I remember hearing this in 3CR when I was a kid, when I was a 10-year-old, and I did a
My Canary had
program.
circles under it.
Yes, they did that too. They had some great hits, Mick Conway and the Matchbox Band. But here we go with a recording called Who Walks In When I Walk Out. It's a bit of a...
That's cryptic, isn't it?
It certainly is, but I think all will be revealed. vk3sl tests.
Doggone it, I'm mad. Who walks in when I walk out? And who gives you that hidey high, baby? Who's that who's got me jealous of you? Who walks in when I walk out? Come tell me now. Don't you know you're my baby? Who's that who's got me very worried too? Yeah, badly. When we kiss, I kind of miss that something that used to be. Because every day while I'm away, I know you're going uptown when I'm out of town. Now, who walks in when I walk out? And who gives you that high, baby? Who's that who's got me awfully jealous? The dog.
Well, Al Bowley, as you've never heard him. I've never heard Al Bowley sing like that before. That was quite fascinating. Yeah, who walks in? And Ray Noble, very, very slick ensemble. And apparently that was recorded in 1934. And I have, for the sake of continuity, I've dialed up the 1973 version from the album Smoke Dreams with Captain Matchbox and his whoopee band. Now, I think it is for it is an afternoon program, and I'll ask younger listeners to block their ears because the first part of the song can leave people somewhat perplexed. vk3sl.
Line up, huh?
Who walks in when I walk out? Don't you know you're my baby? Who's that book that's got me jealous of me? Who walks in when I walk out? Don't you know you're hot, baby? Who's that book that's got me worried too? Oh, when my kiss, I kinda miss something used to be. 'Cause every day when I'm away, who walks in when I walk out? Don't you know you're my baby? Who's that book that's got me jealous of you? Now who walks in when I walk out? Do you know you're my baby? Who's that book that's got me jealous of you? Who walks in when I walk out? Don't you know you're hot, baby? Who's that book that's got me worried too? Oh, when we kiss, I gotta miss something used to be. 'Cause every day when I'm away, who walks in when I walk out? Don't you know you're my baby? Who's that book that's got me jealous of you?
From the album Smoke Dreams, and that was Captain Matchbox and the Whoopee Band. And I don't think much needs to be said about the topic in question, but they certainly
I think
adjusted.
I begin to get the idea.
Yeah, something registered, not quite, yeah.
Vaguely hinted at.
Yeah, vaguely, just vaguely at the start. I actually do remember playing that on 3CR, and then it had a chronograph line through the track not to play, and,
Okay.
and we accidentally played that, maybe accidentally on purpose, I don't know. But there we go, that's a story. Now, I've just got, I'm going to go and take an antacid because I've just had a huge amount of cheese because we just had a goodbye to a work colleague before I came here. And sometimes if I have cheese and vino, I get this rather bad attack. And I'm in the
Yeah,
middle
I do too. We've got a lot of cheese in our thing too, but for a similar reason that we've had it for a group of people coming.
Right.
And they didn't get through it all.
Yep.
But I'm doing a lot to assist the situation.
Yes.
But it doesn't sit well with me.
No, look, it can get a bit out of control.
Especially if I drink it with red. If I eat it with red.
Yeah, yeah. Anyhow, look, I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable. These things go in waves, and I know my system, so I'm just going to just chill for a few minutes, and I'm going to put on some, just maybe 10 minutes while I go and have a glass of water and just see if I can recalibrate.
Yeah.
It just happened all of a sudden. So I'm going to have a listen to, I don't know what this might be. So I'll just check this, some Prozoot, I think. Glenn Gray and his orchestra. Let's have a listen for 10 minutes or so and then hopefully be back on board.
Very good.
dreamers and the schemers, listen friend, in the end we all go to the cleaners. Love and live and eat and drink, troubles never borrow. But be careful what you drink or you'll be dust tomorrow. Make the dust fly, beat it, kick it around, blow it out, throw it out, and shout hallelujah. Dust, I'm gonna shake ya. Dust, I'm gonna rake ya. Dust, you're just a dusty son of a gun. Men send you to Hades when they peek at ladies. You sneak up and blow the dust in their eyes. Gonna get a broom and clean up all your mess, all your mess. Bathe in joy and drown myself in happiness, happiness. I'll grin and make the pain go. Laugh, I'll see the rainbow. Be free as a hobo raised in the dust.
I said I love you, would you say that won't do? Or would you say that is okay, leave it that way? If I rhymed cottage small with the words kiss and bliss, then would you say that is okay, leave it that way? If I used an old line like wedding in June, would you agree to help me with the tune? For the punch, suppose I add, baby smiles, mom and dad. Would I be wrong, or would you say leave it that way?
Back on board. That was the Casa Loma Orchestra with Glenn Gray, recordings from 1930, care of Prozert. Yeah, I have to put that on. I get these, have these reactions sometimes when I have too much rich food.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Just it's like eating a hot coal. I see. I had it hours ago, but sometimes there's a delayed reaction, and it's like it's really bad. I had to go and lie in the bed, but I'm all right. I'm not looking for sympathy.
No. You'll get none.
No, that's right, exactly. I mean, it was really nice cheese. That's the reason it happened. It was really good.
It's very hard to stop eating it, isn't it?
I know. And it's the end of term cheese and wine. Oh, so, yes.
They usually stop when there's none left.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, anyhow, I think it's all right now. It's just that, for a moment I thought, hello, this is going to be a strong reaction. So, and I was perspiring like anything, and I could really feel there was a bit of a toxic response.
Yeah, I know. It's quite alarming. Really,
Yeah, it can be. But, you get to know your body a bit and just had to rest for a bit. So thank you for
No, I sympathise particularly because I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's all overindulgence. Never the mind. Well, we're back on board, and I'm sort of feeling a little bit more together now. There's been some proto-jazz come up onto the into the field, and we've another recording of that Manhattan band from which recorded in London in 1919.
Yes.
Yeah, we heard one the other day, and someone else has followed suit. So there's a bit of a subject of interest here. So I reckon we can sample some more if I can find it. Here we go. Yes, no, yes, no. I'm still looking. Here it is. The Manhattan Jazz Band, 1919. It's a track called "A Ball in a China Shop," and this is sort of it's pathway music, I suppose, crossover music really from the ragtime tradition. And by all accounts, this group did come over to Britain from the US, and they're very much in the same vogue as the ODJB, the original Dixieland Jazz Band, who recorded around about that time in America, but in this instance, it's a recording made in London. So it's quite significant historically, and these sort of recordings went a long way in informing a generation about syncopated music, jazz inspiration. go. That was a track called A Bull in a China Shop Manhattan Jazz Band from 1919, I think that was recorded, and you could hear the novelty elements in that song. And I thought it was quite an attractive track, a lot of sort of forward cross rhythms there, and definitely ragtime inspired. And yeah, those sort of records are completely fascinating because they really sort of bring forward the changes that, well, you can really hear the way music was evolving through.
Yeah, they really reflect their time, don't they?
They do, and that's pretty extraordinary for London. I mean, on the continent, that sort of thing would have been very few. Sort of bands would have been few and far between. So yeah, it's significant that a few of those are being put up online at this point in time. Recordings made for Zonophone. Yeah, so and that's prompted me to delve into the pile of these HMVs from way back when. These go back to the similar period, a little earlier perhaps, during the First World War. We heard If's Orchestra last week. This one's Joyce's Orchestra, conducted by Mr. Joyce. I don't know anything about this band, but it's a recording by of one of his own compositions by all account, and it's a track called Vision de Moor. So I think it's a bit of a waltz, but we'll have a listen to Joyce's Orchestra, recorded in London on a Gramophone Monarch record, very heavy record, made back in the very early days. Now, have I got the, let me just check that I've got the noise reduction system clicked in. I think we are right to go. Sorry, I'm a little bit slow off the mark today. Let's have a listen to Joyce's Orchestra, vk3sl Test Missions. we go. The music of Archibald Joyce and his orchestra. I'm becoming more and more partial, Frank, to the Edwardian sounds. Sounds of the times. It's charming music. And I'm reading about Mr. Joyce, and apparently he was an English light music composer. He was born in 1873 and died in 1963.
Well, 90 years.
Yeah, had a good innings, and he's regarded as the English waltz king. Now, here's an interesting little bit of information. His music was a part of the White Star Line's orchestra repertoire, and it says here that the passengers on the Titanic very likely heard Joyce's compositions played during that voyage, that fateful voyage. So his music was in their playbook, and he was enormously popular for a period during the teens. So there we go, Archibald Joyce. I might say the other side for tonight. I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all old school, playing with lots of slides, but it has a certain, I don't know, certain signature sound of the times, which I think is very, very
Got
pleasant.
a sort of an elegance about it, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it does. Well, we can move on to into a more popular sphere, and I'm back on those program World Service transcription records, and I've got one here just in my hand. It's the Louis Jordan and his Timpani 5. Now, I can't recall what type of ensemble this group were, whether they're sort of more trad-inspired or what they are, so it's sort of a little...
They are a very early... Look, let's listen to them, but they're a bit of a mixture.
Okay.
But Louis Jordan's a legend.
Oh, right. Very good. All right. Well, we've got a few tracks. Tell me what you think. We've got Let's Make It a Date, Paperboy, Riding in an Upper Berth, Saxa Woogie, and 7th Avenue.
That'll be Saxa Woogie.
Saxa Woogie. I think we all need a bit of Saxa Woogie.
Selects itself.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Track D. All right. They're lock grooves, these, so I'll just have to go with the system. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the groove, and we'll have a listen to Saxa Woogie. I think we initiated here. Let me try this buyer. There we go.
Saxa-woogie is a boogie, it's a boogie-woogie-doogie, it's a banger. Saxa-woogie is a boogie and you're bound to get the boogie beat in your feet.
Louis Jordan and the band. Wow, this guy is incredible. I've been reading about Louis Jordan. And
He's a legendary figure.
Certainly is. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as an early influence.
Yeah, he was. He was rhythm and blues to rock and roll.
Wow. Now another transition character. It's it just goes on and on. There's so much information about him here. And it says, according to Cleveland.com, Louis Jordan had a profound impact on several Afro-American music genres that evolved during the first half of the 20th
Yeah, that's what I was
century.
saying. It's hard to categorise him because he really did.
Yeah. He said he helped make jump blues, jazz and boogie-woogie mainstream forces. And his legendary work would serve as a precursor to modern blues, rock and roll, and R&B music. How about that? That's a real a great accolade.
He's a very important figure in popular music.
Sure. Oh, we'll have to feature more. Maybe we need to sort of flesh this topic out a little bit more. Should we play it?
He would warrant a session.
Yeah, I think so. Well, maybe we'll play a couple tonight. We can play one more now and then feature the rest of the this disc tonight maybe and see what else there is. Although I won't get much of a chance to do any research tonight, so it's going to have to be a bit of an ad hoc session.
Just as it comes.
Yeah, but we can play some and discover it as we go, I suppose. 7th Avenue. I wonder what that's like. Well, we could give it a
try.
We give it a try, yeah. All right. Well, we're sampling tracks from these 2GB Program World Service transcription records, and it's quite a pile of them here, and they're all sorts of interesting material from the early 1950s, so they certainly warrant listening. So, yeah, let's have a listen to 7th Avenue, Louis Jordan and his Timpani 5.
I'm taking my baby walking. It's silly to stay home talking and listen to people squawking. Come on along and take a stroll on 7th Avenue. We'll go along window shopping and steal a kiss while we're stopping. But we won't be window shopping. Come on along and take a stroll on 7th Avenue. The folks passing by may give us the eye, we'll be unaware. It's so plain to see that when you're with me, I'm walking on air. We ought to be home by 7, but we may stay out till 11, 'cause walking is solid heaven. Come on along and take a stroll on 7th Avenue. The eye, we'll be unaware. It's so plain to see that when you're with me, I'm walking on air. We ought to be home by 7, but we may stay out till 11, 'cause walking is solid heaven. Come on along and take a stroll on 7th Avenue. Come along, let's stroll the avenue.
Louis Jordan and the Timpani 5 there from the early 1950s, and it's a theme certainly worth exploring, his influence. And
I think he might have been based in New Orleans.
Okay, sure. He's a fabulous saxophone player.
Oh, yeah.
He's really got a great, sense of, I don't know, he inhabits the space, doesn't he?
Sure does.
But just full of interest and lively, and he's I think he's a great rhythm and blues player. I noticed that he put out an album called Rock and Roll in 1950 or 60 mumble. I haven't got a date on this, but
did he really? That's very interesting.
Yeah, but I'm not sure what the full story is about this. So maybe it's someone else's revamp. So I should probably put a question mark on it. But here's a track from it online. It's called Caledonia.
Oh yeah, Caledonia. That's a very famous song.
Yeah, when do you think it came out, Frank?
Early 50s. Oh, no, earlier, I think.
Really?
I have an idea that, there are a few versions of it.
Yep.
I've got an idea that Cab Calloway might have had some involvement.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Caledonia, it's a good song.
Okay, all right, we'll hear about Caledonia. I get a sense of what it might be about. Well, we'll hear it, and I'm not sure if this is an original version or if it's a little later, but by all accounts it's got some early rock and roll influence. So Louis Jordan from Another Decade, VK3SL testing.
VK3JR.
There we go, Louis Jordan, and apparently that record was made in 1956, so it's sort of early days of rock and roll.
It's rock and roll, that's pure rock and roll.
How about that? So probably quite significant in the scheme of things, I'd say. When you hear it, it's got all of the flavours of rock and roll, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, that guitar solo at the beginning and the sax in the middle.
So how does that rate compared to, or how does it sort of sit in relation to other rock and roll recordings from 1956?
There's a lot of Bill Haley in there.
Yeah, see, Bill Haley was well and truly on the map by then, wasn't he? He was 54 or 53, wasn't he?
And Elvis had just made the scene.
Yeah, sure. So he's probably a part of that. But I notice here that he recorded the same song with his Timpani 5 group in 1945.
Sound a lot different.
Yeah, but a number of people have said this is the birth song of rock and roll. There's all these comments to that effect.
I don't know where they're coming from, but there's so many births of rock and roll.
I think you're right. I think so. I think there are many different
he certainly had a lot to do with it. I don't think there's any doubt.
Yeah, well, look, we'll listen to this 1945 version of the same song, a recording for Decca.
This will be much rhythm and blues. Real rhythm and blues.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we'll get a different flavour of the same song, Caledonia. This is Louis Jordan and his Timpani 5.
she got great big feet. She long, lean, and lank, and ain't had nothing to eat. But she's my baby, and I love her just the same. Crazy about that woman, 'cause Caledonia is her name. Caledonia! Caledonia! What make your big head so hard? Mom, I love you just the same. I'll always love you, baby, 'cause Caledonia is your name. Caledonia alone. That's what she told me, no kidding. That's what she said. She said, son, keep away from that woman. She ain't no good. Don't bother with her. But Mama didn't know what Caledonia was putting down. So I'm going down to Caledonia's house and ask her just one more time. Caledonia! Caledonia! What make your big head so hard? Mom!
Well, there we go. 1945. How about that?
Oh, yeah.
Very, as you say, very much rhythm and blues in its flavour.
I actually prefer that.
Yeah, I think it's just great. Isn't it interesting? You can really hear the influence of Cab Calloway.
Very much you can.
And this is an interesting sort of lineage we're tracing here. I mean, and you can hear that Cab Calloway, there's an interview with him, and he says, categorically, I invented rock and roll, he says. Of course, there's so many people said that, but he was very serious. He believed he did with his Hardy Hardy Ho song and all the call and response stuff. He felt
that's the same thing, see?
Yeah.
Or similar to what Louis doing there.
Yeah, that's it. So when you think of it, I suppose in many respects there are strong connections, and
there are.
And everything sort of fell into the melting pot, and it all sort of happened for multitudes of reasons. But it is interesting to look at these early exponents. Yeah, but Cab Calloway, I mean, he did Heidi Ho in 1932. It goes way back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no wonder the Blues Brothers wanted to champion that song.
That's right.
Yeah, so this is great. There's so much Louis Jordan here. I mean, we're struck upon a theme here.
Yeah, he's a seminal figure, Steve.
Yeah, look, I've seen his name on records and I've played them here and there, but not really thought about the significance of them. And this is brilliant. There's Choo Choo Boogie, Let the Good Times Roll. I'm just looking at a playlist here. You can just, if you think of one of these tracks resonates, just say and we'll play it. Ain't no one here but us chickens.
Yeah, do that.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's a novelty track.
Is it? Okay, sounds good. All right, well, we can cue this one up. I think I've got it on the order. So, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. He's a great musician. He's got such a fabulous raw energy. And, it's good stuff. So, here we have Louis Jordan and Ain't Nobody Here But Us Chickens. I don't know when this was recorded, but I'm sure it'll be good. vk3sl.
One night Farmer Brown was taking the air, locked up the barnyard with the greatest of care. Down in the hen house something stirred when he shouted, "Who's there?" This is what he heard: "There ain't nobody here but us chickens. There ain't nobody here at all. So calm yourself and stop that fuss. There ain't nobody here but us. We chickens trying to sleep, and you butt in and hobble, 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 hobble with your chin. There ain't nobody here but us chickens. There ain't nobody here at all. You're stomping around and shaking the ground. You're kicking up an awful dust. We chickens trying to sleep, and you butt in and hobble, 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 hobble. It's a sin. Tomorrow is a busy day. We got things to do, we got eggs to lay, we got ground to dig and worms to scratch. It takes a lot of setting, getting chicks to hatch. Oh, there ain't nobody here but us chickens. There ain't nobody here at all. So quiet yourself and stop that fuss. There ain't nobody here but us. Kindly point that gun the other way and hobble, hobble, hobble off and hit the hay. Tomorrow is a busy day. We got things to do. We got eggs to lay. We got ground to dig and worms to scratch. It takes a lot of setting, getting chicks to hatch. There ain't nobody here but us chickens. There ain't nobody here at all. So quiet yourself and stop that fuss. There ain't nobody here but us. And kindly point that gun the other way and hobble, hobble, hobble off and hit the hay. Hey, hey, boss man, what do you say? It's easy pickings. There ain't nobody here but us chickens.
Oh, there we go. Louis Jordan and Ain't Nobody Here But Us Chickens. And one of many recordings out there on the online, so we'll have to mine the archives and find some more. In fact, there's another one that's just jumped out here. It says here some of his songs had fantastical narratives, and he had a strong influence on Chuck Berry, which I can well understand. Yeah, and this one here is called Saturday Night Fish Fry, I think it's called.
Yeah, that's good too. This is real rhythm and blues stuff.
Fabulous. Oh, this is great. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's just got such a great energy to it, and he's just a really, really good musician. He's just, he's on the front foot, and he's inventive, and he's earthy, and he's wild. He's got all those attributes that we associate with
He's a
rock
real
and
deal, isn't he?
He really is. In some ways, he's probably got more raw talent than a lot of rock and roll artists.
Oh, absolutely. No question.
I think so. So let's have a listen to a recording from 1949, and this one is Saturday Night Fish Fry. We're listening to the music of Louis Jordan on the Missions VK3sl.
Now if you ever been down to New Orleans, then you can understand just what I mean. Now all through the week it's quiet as a mouse, but on Saturday night they go from house to house. You don't have to pay the usual admission if you're a cook or a waiter or a good musician. So if you happen to be just passing by, stop in at the Saturday Night Fish Fry. It was rockin', it was rockin'. You never seen such scuffling and shuffling till the break of dawn. It was rockin', it was rockin'. You never seen such scuffling and shuffling till the break of dawn. Now my buddy and me was on the main stem, fooling around, just me and him. We decided we could use a little something to eat, so we went to a house on Rampart Street. We knocked on the door and it opened with ease, and a lush little miss said, "Come in, please." And before we could even bat an eye, we were right in the middle of a big fish fry. It was rockin', it was rockin'. You never seen such scuffling and shuffling till the break of dawn. It was rockin', it was rockin'. You never seen such scuffling and shuffling till the break of dawn. Now the folks was having the time of their life, and Sam was jiving Jimmy's wife, and over in the corner was a beat-up grand being played by a big fat piano man. Now, some of the chicks wore expensive frocks, some of them had on Bobby socks, but everybody was nice and high at this particular Saturday night fish fry. It was rockin', it was rockin'. You never seen such scuffling and shuffling till the break of dawn. It was rockin', it was rockin'. You never seen such scuffling and shuffling till the break of dawn. Now my buddy and me, we fell right in and we hollered, let the joy begin. Now we figured this was a good place to play, 'cause the party was already underway. But all of a sudden the lights went low and everybody made straight for the front door. Man, I was so scared I didn't know where to go. I stood right there, then I fell on the floor. It was rockin', it was rockin'. You never seen such scuffling and shuffling till the break of dawn. It was rockin', it was rockin'. You never seen such scuffling and shuffling till the break of dawn. Now the women was screaming and jumping and yelling, the bottles was flying and the fish was smelling, and way up above all the noise they made, somebody hollered, better get out of here, this is a raid. I didn't know we were breaking the law, but somebody reached over and hit me on the jaw. They had us blocked off from the front to the back, and they were putting them in the wagon like potato sacks. It was rockin', it was rockin'. You never seen such scuffling and shuffling till the break of dawn. It was rockin', it was rockin'. You never seen such scuffling and shuffling till the break of dawn. I knew I could get away if I had a chance, but I was shaking like I had the St. Vitus dance. Now I tried to crawl under a bathtub when the policeman said, where you going now, bub? Now they got us out of there like a house of fire, put us all in that black Mariah. Now they might have missed a pitiful few, but they got both me and my buddy too. It was rockin', it was rockin'. You never seen such scuffling and shuffling till the break of dawn. It was rockin', it was rockin'. You never seen such scuffling and shuffling till the break of dawn. We headed for jail in a day's condition. They booked each one of us on suspicion. Now my chick came down and went my bail and finally got me out of that rotten jail. Now, if you ever want to get a fist in your eye, just mention a Saturday night fish fry. I don't care how many fish in the sea, but don't ever mention a fish to me. It was rockin', it was rockin'. You never seen such scuffling and shuffling till the break of dawn. It was rockin', it was rockin'. You never seen such scuffling and shuffling till the break of dawn.
Give me one of them down fish sandwiches.
Get away from that, boy.
Well, how about that? He is as good a singer as anybody.
I know.
He's really good.
Got it all, isn't he?
And this is just a fascinating story. Yeah, he was born in 1908, and he was making recordings in the early 30s. And I'm going to have to investigate and find out some of those. But he was with Chick Webb when Ella Fitzgerald joined the band. So there's
I didn't realise that.
So there's recordings in the mid 1930s with a teenage Ella Fitzgerald and with Louis Jordan. I'll play one in a minute. But I've just found a fascinating quote from Chris Barber, who was a trombone player in Britain and in the 60s, great trad player. And he says here, this is referring to Louis Jordan in the 60s when he did a tour of Britain, I think. Says, playing with him was just frightening, says Chris Barber. It was like an amateur guitar player from a back street who had just bought a Spanish guitar working with Segovia. He didn't make you feel small, but he was just so perfect in what he did. I still remember watching him singing, but he would accompany himself on the alto, and you were convinced he was playing the alto while he was singing. The breath hadn't gone from his last word before he was playing the alto, and it seemed to be simultaneous. He got a very raw deal from history. Mr. Barber says, in the Chick Webb band there were 2 regular singers, Ella and Louis Jordan. And yet really history has consigned him to just being a comedy vocal thing with a bit of rock and roll and the first alto. But he was such a consummately good singer that it's sad he wasn't known more for it. Well, that's really quite fascinating, isn't it? Just to get that.
Very telling, isn't it?
It is. It says a lot about he was consigned to a particular genre, but I mean, it didn't affect his zeal and his amazing presence. It's
Really had a sense he was enjoying himself too.
Oh, totally, absolutely so. Incredible. Well, look, here's an early one. Here's a recording from 1935, 36, or it had to be 36 because that's when Ella first joined. It's a recording with Ella Fitzgerald. Apparently, I haven't sampled this. And Louis Jordan, both of them with the Chick Webb Orchestra from the early days. Let's have a listen. vk3sl Test Missions.
Now, Ella, it's you I'm adoring. Ella, your sweetness is scoring in my heart. You started a song, now in my arms, where baby you belong. Ella, don't keep me imploring. Let's steal away, just we two. You need no fortune teller, for you my Cinderella. I love you, sweet Ella, I do.
Now if you love me like you sing it, then you really have to swing it. Take your trumpet down from your side and really play your part.
Well, I think he genuinely was in love with Ella Fitzgerald. A 16-year-old.
Sounded like it.
It sounded like it, didn't it? She was young. She was about 15, 16 on that recording. She's just a kid. And, there was a bit of chemistry there, I thought, Frank.
I think it came through. Just pick over her amazing voice control as she just trilled on that note.
Yeah, I know. Incredible. Oh, this is a real discovery, actually. I'm really enjoying this. We'll have to underscore it, or maybe we can continue and play a few more tonight later on, and just do it as we're doing it now.
Excellent.
Just see what comes to the fore, and we could definitely play some more. And I've just done a quick dial up here. I mean, these are records unsampled, unseen, but we've got one here. The Swell of You, Chick Webb and his orchestra, and apparently, it says with it Louis Jordan, 1937. So he would have been, when was he born? 1908. So he would have been 29 at this point. So, if he was born in 1908, he was probably playing in the 20s, early 30s. So there's possibly another chapter before this one as well. So
Probably.
yeah, I'll have to do some investigation. This is just great. All right, there's a track called "It's the Swell of You," Chick Webb and his orchestra with Louis Jordan, VK3sl Test Missions.
It's swell of you, treating me so kindly, swell of you. I was heading blindly, then your smile showed me the way to love. It's swell of you, just to let me share the spell of you. Funny what a pleasant word will do to bring out the blue up above. When I have you as an inspiration, I'm sure to get by. And in appreciation, I promise that I'll love you, dear, until the day I die. It's swell of you. While I live, my lips will tell of you just how grand you are and that you'll be the one for me. You'll never know exactly what you've done for me, but it's oh so awfully mighty swell of you.
There we have it, the swell of you, Chick Webb and the vocal Louis Jordan. Very interesting hearing him crooning in that instance. Quite different to his later style, I thought. Quite fascinating stuff. Louis Jordan, and we've sort of featured him inadvertently. We've just gone on a tangent, as always. That's the name of the game. We sort of like to find a pathway and exploit it, and we might hear some more Louis Jordan tonight. I think it could be a good topic.
Covers such a wide span, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. That was really different, wasn't it?
Oh, totally, yeah.
Quite a different sort of sound, and yeah, crooning is probably sort of, going with the theme of the times, and
He's played several genres, but the thing is, he does them all very well.
yeah, that's it. He's got extraordinary authority. He just seems to, know his space and know what he's doing.
Makes them his own, really, doesn't he?
Yeah, tremendous. Oh, well, I'll look forward to hearing more, and
Likewise.
I'll have a different attitude now when I see the name Louis Jordan is Timpani
Well,
500.
I knew a fair bit about him, but no, I've learned a lot tonight.
Oh, it's been fun. It's been really good. So, well, look, I might have to find a play out record. I'll have to have a look on the shelf, see what there is, because I think I'm probably required in the house to get things organised for the social occasion tonight.
Yes,
I think Kate's asked about half a dozen families over. She's as soon as the not half a dozen, about 2 or 3 couples over, and
Very nice.
but yes, the as soon as the holidays start, we're into the zone in earnest, I think.
Oh, why not?
Yeah. So it's, what we might do is we'll see if there's another one of these world record, not world record, but world program service discs. Here's Lynn Murray and his orchestra. I don't know anything about Carmen Dragon and his orchestra. There's all sorts of interesting things. I think a lot of it's more of the sort of incidental music genre. But here we go. Here's Helen Forrest with Carmen Dragon. Helen Forrest sang with Benny Goodman, I'm pretty sure.
She was. I totally was.
Yeah.
I think she was his main singer for a while.
I think you're right. That's true. Well, look, in the interim, while I try and find an album to play, we'll have a listen to this. It's Helen Forrest with Carmen Dragon and his orchestra. Maybe we should hear, there's all sorts of interesting things here. Ain't Misbehavin', How High the Moon, Mad About the Boy. There's a few here.
Well, great tracks.
Yeah.
Great songs.
That's right. So it's all on a 16-inch record.
All standards.
Yes, indeed. I'll slap it on. Look, we'll start with Ain't Misbehaving, and if I haven't found anything, we might follow on with another track there. So we'll hear this, and I'll touch base before I move on. But I'm just going to check that this is switched on. There we go. In the groove, and I think our noise reduction system is active as we speak. Let's have a listen to Helen Forrest with Carmen Dragon, vk3sl.
No one to talk with all by myself, no one to walk with, but I'm happy on the shelf. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you. I know for certain the one I love, I'm through with flirting, it's just you I'm thinking of. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner in the corner, don't go nowhere. What do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, I don't stay out late, don't care to go. I'm home about it, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you. Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, I don't stay out late, I don't care to go. I'm home about it, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you.
Helen Forrest there with Carmen Dragon, and Ain't Misbehaving. Oh, Frank, I've got a couple of records here. You choose. I've got music of the 30s, Jealousy with Yehudi Menuhin and Stefan Grappelli, and the Alan Blair Trio. This is a recording from the early 1970s, I presume.
Yep.
And the other one is E. Power Briggs, who was an organist. Now, he's E. Power Briggs. He's playing the music of Scott Joplin on a pedal harpsichord.
Oh, that's got to be the one.
You reckon? Okay, we'll give it a Guernsey. I hope it's the right record in the here. I've never...
Is it E-Power? It's not E-Power Biggs.
Oh, yeah, Biggs. Thanks for that.
He's a very well-reputed organist.
Yes, Biggs, not Briggs.
I thought it might have been somebody taking the mickey out
So
of it.
taking the Mickey. Thank you for the clarification there. You are absolutely right. It's written in sort of old script on the label, like
Yeah, right.
And I just
Well, it might have been someone taking the piss.
right. This will be interesting. So we've got it is the right record on the cover. I have never sampled it. Scott Joplin Volume 2. It says.
Oh, this will be really interesting.
Yeah, we've got the Cascades, a rag, the Chrysanthemum, Afro Intermezzo, all, they're both from 1904, and then Something Doing, Cakewalk March, 1903. I mean, these recordings are made recently, but made in the 70s, but they're earlier works.
Pedal harpsichord.
Pedal harpsichord could be interesting. Magnetic Rag, 1914. Felicity Rag, 1911, and then we'll flip the disc and we'll hear the Entertainer.
Just terrific. You sure you don't want to keep this for something special?
Oh, we can play it again. No, I'd like to sample it. It'd be interesting. It's good for, good test material, the harpsichord. Good for transient tests. But we'll, I reckon we'll play it. I'll just turn the, start off side A. Yep, it begins with the Cascades. So I might just have to just take a moment to clean the record. It looks like it's needs a bit of attention here. And
I've got some gems hidden in those, your big stack there.
Well, it's right. There's stuff here that I really have never listened to or have no idea about. So it's nice to discover new things. And we'll...
The classical organist.
Yeah, that's right. I associate
him.
Yes, indeed. I recognise his name. I've seen it on record labels.
Yeah.
There's a picture of him on the cover, and this record would have to be from the mid-1970s.
I think he might be American.
Yeah, and he's an older man on the cover of this, and that makes sense because there's a number of recordings of Mr. Biggs in the 50s or earlier. In fact, the 30s, there's recordings of him. So, I think he... is a product of an earlier time, but he's doing something very different here. This will be good. So I don't know anything about the pedal harpsichord, but look, I tell you what, if there's any tracks on this that jump out at you, we can feature them again and later on. Bit of a teaser perhaps for tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, we'll go with the flow tonight. There's a possibility we'll have some people in the audience here. I'm not sure, but we'll start as we do at 11:30, and then I'll dial up just before midnight, and we'll see what happens. I won't
be okay for Zoom.
Yeah, look, Zoom should be fine, Frank. I won't go terribly late tonight because I've got big day, so that'll probably suit both of us.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, so I'm just checking that I've got everything in, and we can commence. Let's have a listen to the music of Scott Joplin, played by E. Power Biggs. And I look forward to your company later on there, Frank.
Likewise, Steve.
Cheers for now.
Cheers.
We're listening to E. Power Biggs on the harpsichord, and the pedal harpsichord, in fact. That's from a LP from the mid-1970s, and I have to say that has struck a chord. We'll hear more from that. I won't play side B now, but we'll save it for another time. Now, if you're listening in, I just should mention that we won't be doing missions tomorrow afternoon. I won't be here. I'm going to a concert tomorrow afternoon. It's Saturday. And should be back on Sunday, all being well. That's the plan. So just letting people know in advance. But we will be on later on tonight. Friday night at 11:30, we'll do our usual strut and play a range of historic material to set the scene. So we look forward to your company then, folks. And thank you for your indulgence. What can I do here? I can actually play a little of that last track as a ride out. So thanks again. Have a good evening, and we'll see you later. vk3sl.